This video presentation is for educational purposes only and does not constitute any legal advice. It is recommended that you seek legal counsel for specific matters. All copyrights and trademarks of image video clips and any content that inserted on Cainne's video presentation will belong to their respective owners and are used only under fair use of educational purposes. Any actions and decisions made by the viewers like reenacting this content are not under Cainne's responsibility. Any of the ideas, knowledge, and researches that Cainne expressed here are solely himself and nothing to do with the school, organization, and group in which Cainne is currently belong. Parental guidance is advised.
The most wanted criminals in the Philippines have a price on their heads. Lives to track them down. They consider themselves informal law enforcers, filling the gap when corrupt officials allow dangerous fugitives to evade capture.
What is citizen's arrest, and what are the differences between citizen's arrest and bounty hunting? So what is citizen's arrest? A citizen's arrest is an arrest made by a person who is not acting as a sworn law enforcement official. In common law jurisdictions, the practice dates back to medieval England and the English common law, in which sheriffs encouraged ordinary citizens to help apprehend lawbreakers. A person who makes a citizen's arrest could risk exposing him or herself to possible lawsuits or criminal charges, such as charges of false imprisonment, unlawful restraint, kidnapping, or wrongful arrest, if the wrong person is apprehended or a suspect's civil rights are violated. This is especially true when police forces are attempting to determine who an aggressor is. The level of responsibility that a person performing a citizen's arrest may bear depends on the jurisdiction. For instance, in France and Germany, a person stopping a criminal from committing a crime, including crimes against belongings, is not criminally responsible as long as the means employed are in proportion to the threat. Note, however, that in both countries, this results from a different legal norm, aid to others in immediate danger, which is concerned with prevention, not prosecution, of crimes. What you need to know about making a citizen's arrest. Whenever possible, you should report wrongdoing to the police instead of taking action on your own. Police officers are equipped with the proper intervention tools and trained to deal with incidents which may escalate to become violent. Important considerations. Making a citizen's arrest without carefully considering the risk factors may have serious unintended consequences for you and others involved. In most cases, an arrest consists of either actually seizing or touching a person's body in an effort to detain them. Before deciding whether to make a citizen's arrest, you should be aware of the citizen's arrest laws and consider the following. First, is it feasible for a peace officer to intervene? If so, report the crime to the police instead of taking action on your own. Second, your personal safety and that of others could be compromised by attempting an arrest. Relevant considerations would include whether the suspect is alone and whether they possess a weapon. Third, will you be able to turn over the suspect to the police without delay once an arrest is made? Fourth, do you have a reasonable belief regarding the suspect's criminal conduct? Making a citizen's arrest. If you do decide to make a citizen's arrest, you should. First, tell the suspect plainly that you are making a citizen's arrest and that you are holding him or her until police arrive. Second, call the police. Third, ask explicitly for his or her cooperation until police arrive. Fourth, avoid using force, if at all possible, and use it to the minimum possible otherwise. Fifth, do not question or search the suspect or his or her possessions. Your purpose is only to temporarily detain him or her until police arrive. Sixth, when police arrive, state the plain facts of what happened. Citizen's arrest laws. In most cases, you must find a person either in the act of committing a crime, or escaping from and freshly pursued by persons who have lawful authority to arrest that person, in order to lawfully make a citizen's arrest. In particular, if you are arresting a person for an indictable offense, which is the most serious type of offense and includes violent offenses, you can only make the arrest at the time you witness the person committing the offense. It is against the law to arrest a person after any lapse in time for having committed an indictable offense, unless it is relation to your property. The law allows you to use as much force as is necessary for the purpose of making a citizen's arrest, as long as you are acting on reasonable grounds. However, any force you use must be tailored to the circumstances, and you are criminally responsible for any excess force you use. In addition to the potential for a criminal prosecution, you may also face a civil lawsuit in relation to your conduct and any injury you cause. The law requires that when making a citizen's arrest, the arrested individual must be delivered to a police officer without delay. If you make a citizen's arrest and do not call the police as soon as possible, the arrest might be ruled illegal, and you could face civil or criminal consequences. In special circumstances of any type of criminal offense that is committed on or in relation to your property, you may either: first, arrest the person you find in the act of committing a crime, or second, arrest the person within a reasonable period of time after having found that person committing a crime. To be eligible to make a citizen's arrest for a crime on or in relation to property, you must be one of the following: first, the owner of the property; second, in lawful possession of the property, or third, to have been authorized by the owner or the person in lawful possession of the property. Although the country does not have an implementation, the local government of Quezon City, Philippines passed Ordinance 2307 or the Citizens Arrest Ordinance of Quezon City. Any citizens within the Quezon City area can arrest a person even without a warrant in the instances mentioned and provided by law. The new Ordinance 2307 or the Citizens Arrest Ordinance of Quezon City was formally signed into law by Mayor Herbert Bautista on August 8, 2014. Under the new ordinance, an ordinary citizen can now arrest criminals and other lawbreakers providing that he or she follows these guidelines. First, that the citizen making the arrest is an eyewitness to the crime. Then, that the citizen has a personal knowledge of the incident, and the most important is that the individual to be arrested is considered as a wanted criminal. Among those that can be arrested via this ordinance are erring drivers, and those in violation of special laws and ordinances. After the arrest, the citizen shall now turn over the lawbreaker into the custody of the Quezon City Police District. Upon turning over of the suspect into police custody, the citizen will execute an affidavit of arrest to attest to the fact that he or she was the one who made the arrest. But here's what the guys up there didn't tell you: the hard part. Because when a citizen executes an affidavit of arrest, it means that he or she is making him or herself available to the court to testify. That he or she is willing to be summoned or subpoenaed, and willing to take the witness stand to be cross-examined by the suspect's counsel or the PAL lawyer. Then, it also means that because the affidavit is a legal instrument sworn to in accordance with the law, that the suspect's lawyer may question its contents and the manner of the arrest. If he finds some irregularities, he may file a case of illegal arrest, illegal detention, or even perjury against the citizen. The question is, what if the suspect is well off and can afford to hire a very good lawyer? What happens to the citizen who made the arrest? Will he or she go to jail? Honestly speaking, it's a big yes. Not unless the citizen can also hire an equally good and expensive lawyer. The act of the citizen's arrest is a very old provision under the revised penal code of the Philippines. It has been there for ages, and an ordinary citizen has yet to use it in its full extent. Why? Well, obviously because of the two reasons mentioned above. We want to make it clear: we're not discouraging people to make a citizen's arrest. We're just preparing the citizen on what he or she may face after making the arrest. Correctly identifying a suspect. In the special circumstances of making an arrest within a reasonable time after observing an offense, as opposed to while the offense is in progress, you are strongly urged to exercise additional care in confirming the identity of the suspect. It is always extremely important to correctly identify a suspect and their criminal involvement. If you make a citizen's arrest at the very time a person is found committing a crime, the correct identification of the suspect will not likely be called into question. However, If you make an arrest within a reasonable time after observing the offense, the accuracy of the identification of the suspect may be called into question. You need to be conscious of the fact that situational factors such as the presence of a weapon, the number of individuals involved, environmental factors and heightened stress levels can negatively affect your recollection of a past incident and your ability to correctly identify a person you have previously seen committing an offense. Even if you genuinely believe that you have correctly identified the suspect after the crime was observed, the risk of mistaken identity is real and must not be minimized. If the person you attempt to arrest is the wrong person, the situation is potentially very dangerous. The person being arrested will not understand why they are being detained and may not submit to the arrest. In these circumstances, there is a real risk that if you arrest the wrong person, you could provoke a violent confrontation and risk injury or death. Just remember, a citizen's arrest is a very serious and potentially dangerous undertaking. Unlike a police officer, private citizens are neither tasked with the duty to preserve and maintain public peace, nor properly trained to apprehend suspected criminals. Exercise extreme caution when attempting to make a citizen's arrest. And citizen's arrests aren't similar to bounty hunting or bounty killing. Bounty hunters have the same rights as a citizen, not police. A citizen can make an arrest where: first, felony committed in his presence. Second, felony not committed in his presence. Third, police officer asks him for assistance, or fourth, he is a merchant or security officer of a merchant. An arrest warrant is not required for a citizen to arrest someone. But it may not be wise for citizens to arrest people. Police officers have certain protections. Citizens could expose themselves to liability and criminal charges such as assault, false arrest, or unlawful entry, especially if the arrest is done to harass or is made against the wrong person. Arrest warrants issued by a judge only give limitation, authority and protections to police officers. When citizens, including bounty hunters working for themselves or bondsmen, arrest someone, it is a tricky and dangerous game. A bounty hunter, sometimes called a bounty killer, is a person who captures fugitives and criminals for monetary reward. The occupation, also known as bail enforcement agent, bail agent, recovery agent, bail recovery agent, or fugitive recovery agent, has historically existed in many parts of the world. However, today it is found almost exclusively in the United States and the Philippines, its former Commonwealth, as the practice is illegal under the laws of most other countries. Most bounty hunters are employed by bail bondsmen, the people who usually post the bail that got the fugitive out of jail after an arrest. The bounty hunter is usually paid about 10% of the total bail amount, though this varies. The bail bondsman hires the bounty hunter because if the fugitive eludes bail, the bondsman is responsible for 100% of the total bail amount. Using the bounty hunter ensures the fugitive arrives for trial. In the United States, bounty hunters reportedly catch over 30,000 bail jumpers each year, or about 90% of the fugitives who jump bail. This industry was made famous by several reality shows, like Dog the Bounty Hunter, and South Korean movie Bounty Hunter and its colorful cast of characters. Of course, the actual bounty hunting industry is usually less flashy. Skip tracing is the process of searching for people through less direct means. Many bounty hunters are well practiced in this skill and use it to locate fugitives. Some confuse skip tracers and bounty hunters, but they are actually separate practices. Skip tracers are often employed for tracing non-criminal persons and entities, as well, often for service of process, collections of debts, and so forth. They often do this without ever setting foot outside of an office. Bounty hunters, on the other hand, are usually required to not only track a criminal fugitive, but also apprehend them. Bounty hunters also do not generally work on civil matters. In the United States and in the Philippines, bounty hunters have varying levels of authority in the execution of their duties. Generally, depending on the individual state's laws, a bounty hunter can enter the fugitive's private property without a warrant in order to take the person back into custody. However, in most states the bounty hunter cannot enter the property of anyone other than the fugitive without a warrant or the permission of the owner, even if pursuing a fugitive, without being guilty of trespass. So do you think it's safe for the citizen to arrest people without legal grounds? Do you think it's overreacted for our country to legalize vigilante groups like these bounty hunters? Or it's better to let them roam the country to reduce criminal rate in the Philippines? Please leave your opinions in the comment. And keep safe. If you like this video presentation and for more informative videos, please hit like and subscribe.